It's not even 9 months since the Taliban swept to power in Afghanistan. The women who were discriminated against during their previous regime are bearing the Sharia brunt again. After banning education for upper grade schoolgirls, the Taliban issued a decree this week ordering all women to appear in public places only in burqa, a full body encompassing clothing. The group has received bad press and scathing condemnation from global organizations and people, but they're not ready to backtrack their decision, saying 99% of women in the country are in favor of Islamic Sharia law.
When the subject of women freedom was on the table during the months-long peace talks with the United States, the Taliban had assured they would be reforming their approach towards girls' education, their movement, freedom of speech and profession. Cut to 9 months into power, all Taliban seem to be offering Afghan women is a repeat of its previous hardline rule when they controlled them with brute high-handedness. A series of decisions in the past couple of months have clearly reflected the group's intentions and objectives. After a ban on music, education and movement, the latest decree has asked women to not step out of their homes without burqa. And while this draconian decree has been denounced all across the globe, the ministers of the interim government have put forth the decision in a very trivial manner, as if all women across the country desperately wanted the law.
الحمدلله در افغانستان 99% مردم افغانستان خانم‌ها، خواهرای ما، مادرای ما بدون از اینکه ما گفته باشیم میانه خودشان حجاب را مراعات میکنند چون مسلمان هستند میفهمند که حجاب مایه عزت آنهاست.
اسلامی امارت دا غواړي چې زمونږ په هیواد کې زمونږ خويندې زمونږ میندې دا په عزت په عفت او محفوظ او خوندي ژوند تیر کړي.
And while the group have referred to it as an intrinsic part of their culture, they have also announced strict punishment provisions on women failing to comply. In what seems to be a decision pushing for absolute patriarchy, men have been asked to keep an eye on them, failing in which they will be visited by Taliban officials and will lose their government jobs. Calling it an inhumane decision, scores of women took out to streets of Kabul and asked for the rollback of the decree. Chanting slogans in favor of a headscarf-free society, they said they were being subjected to a second-class treatment by the authorities.
به حیث اشرف المخلوقات زندگی بکنیم، نه اینکه اسیر و پرده وارد کنج خانه در قفس خانوادگی بند باشیم و شوهرمان بره و لقمه نان را گدایی بکنه. ما این روز را هیچ گاهی نمیخواهیم.
The decision has received widespread condemnation. From the United Nations to prominent international organizations, all have joined the chorus demanding the rollback of the law that violates fundamental freedoms of a human. UN Chief Antonio Guterres aired his concerns on Twitter and urged the Taliban to meet the promises it made regarding the rights of girls and women during the peace process. Nobel laureate and women rights activist Malala Yousafzai said Taliban was bent on erasing women from Afghan society. Amnesty International too joined in the Taliban criticism, saying that decision violated fundamental rights of their choice to wear and movement. The Taliban, however, have appeared unfazed by all criticism so far. It calls its decision strictly in accordance with the Sharia law, which it says is the ultimate governing principle in Islam. observers believe that such decisions are only going to prove counterproductive as the international community, especially the West, which has already been reluctant to assist Taliban rebuild the country, will make a further distance. The Taliban have time and again called for international support, but its actions thus far haven't been in line with the intent and objectives it promised to work for during the peace process.